To speak briefly to the facade of party unity being presented to the mass media here at the convention, all I can say is that there exists a deep rift in this party, and our delegates and our movement mostly is not here to deepen that divide or to further that rift. What we're here to do is to highlight the important issues that we cannot forget about in the face of all this pressure for party unity, that we do need to keep pushing the Democratic establishment and corporate candidates like Secretary Clinton towards the progressive values that are embodied by our political revolution. And the signatories of this statement, as well as millions of Americans, do not feel that that is the case right now.
That's right.
What do you say to people who say you're a spoiler?
I say that the spoiler myth is perpetuated by people that are invested in the status quo or have otherwise been, not thinking about this hard enough to realize that when we vote with love and not with fear, that's when we're going to be able to make the changes that we really want to see.
That's right.
How many delegates do you have signed on?
Currently, we've got 433 delegate and committee members for Senator Sanders from 48 states and Puerto Rico. And we've had this circulating for only 6 days through limited channels. So you can bet that if we had more open communication channels and more time, that we would be closer to at least 2/3 of our delegates signing on.
What's your strategy going forward?
I think the strategy moving forward is going to vary from delegate to delegate. We all moved into this with our own issues that were important to us, and we've been brought together, shown the intersectionality of all of these social and environmental issues under the umbrella of the political revolution, and we're going to carry that forward no matter what. We're going to take an inside-outside strategy. We're going to take over public offices. We're going to stay outside protesting, and we're going to move the Democratic Party further towards the progressive values we need.
So this is a real Occupy kind of a movement as far as you're concerned?
I feel, like I said, there's going to be any revolution is fought on more than one front. And to that end, we're going to keep protesters in the street. We're going to keep people running for public offices. We're going to infiltrate this system from the inside and out. And we're going to bring the Democratic Party back to the people. And we're going to move politics in America towards the progressive values that the people and the climate need right now and not sometime in the future.
We're going to keep this fight moving forward. We're not going to give up. We're not going to give in. We're not going to let go of the people who worked so hard for Bernie Sanders and worked so hard to come to this point, to give in and see this movement die. We're going to keep the movement going as Bernie Sanders wanted us to. It's not about me. It's not about Bernie Sanders. It's about all of us and the people in this country who are suffering, whose voices aren't being heard by their representatives.
Well, is there anything Hillary can do to get your vote?
I think Hillary has much work to do if she would like to get our votes. I want to see her get corporate money and Wall Street money and super PAC money out of politics. We want to see her move to the left on changing the climate and saving us from climate change, from drastic, devastating climate change. We want to see her move in the progressive directions that Bernie Sanders has done. We want to see her move to a $15 minimum living wage. There is much she has left to do.
So short of adopting all of the whole platform of Bernie, is there like 2 things that she could do to come get your vote?
Sure, I'll tell you what she could do right here at this convention. She could drop Vice President Tim Kaine, who's a slap in the face to progressives everywhere.
That's right.
She's catering to the right. She's catering to the Republicans who she feels are going to take this election. She's ignoring the Democratic voting base and the people whose progressive values we need to represent. So she could dump Tim Kaine, and she could talk about these issues that we haven't been talking about. This convention is being hosted by Republican mega donors that paid for it and anti-Obamacare lobbyists. That's how come. That's exactly how come healthcare didn't make it into the platform of this party. Yes, I'm speculating. That's how come. Because this convention's funded by the people that don't want us to have healthcare.
Don't believe us? Look at my credential. Comcast, right here on my credential band. Right here.
So
what if all this results in a Trump presidency? What do you say to those people who are going to blame?
Sure, I'm going to tell you. I've already received from some interviews I did yesterday, I got some hate mail. You can bring your hate mail or your love mail to facebook.com/Shearer4Sanders. I was honored to receive my first hate mail from Hillary telling me that I'm driving people towards Donald Trump because I'm not. I'm out here telling the truth, and that's what that means.
Do you know Do you know who's really driving people to Donald Trump? It is this.
The DNC.
That is right. It is the
DNC.
DNC. It's what we saw in these WikiLeaks leaked emails where Hillary Clinton and the DNC had Hillary Clinton moles inside Bernie Sanders' campaign to sabotage the campaign. DNC officials, high officials, wanted to question his religion. That is what we've seen from the Republican Party. This is below the Democratic Party and our values and our principles, and it is disgusting to me. And what we have seen in these emails is that the DNC is acting no better than the Republican Party. It is unacceptable and disgusting and ugly and vile and evil, and we won't tolerate it.
Did you ever think you'd become a Philly, if you thought a year ago, that you'd become a Philly and the party would be this sort of fractured?
A year ago, I expected a fair election. I expected an election that wouldn't drop millions of people for voting rules in multiple states. I didn't expect an unfair election where independents wouldn't be allowed to vote. I didn't expect an unfair election where people's voices wouldn't be heard. So did I expect this fracture? No, but after seeing everything that we've seen over this past year, to think that people are surprised by this is silly to me. It's laughable. My name is Brian Carolus. I'm an elected pledged delegate for Bernie Sanders from California District 33. Carolus. That's right. Yes.
After seeing Bernie and hearing about the Wasserman scandal yesterday on MSNBC, he said, we have to get everybody together and support Hillary. Is there any possibility, or does he have the ability to tell all of his pledged candidates to fall behind Hillary? Is that a possibility?
He could tell it to us. But ultimately, we have the critical judgment. We have the thinking. We were elected by the people to represent his platform. Sure.
Is there any talk about him doing that whatsoever? Him asking his delegates to fall behind Hillary? Just
No,
to
because we
get
think
unity.
he's being pressured. We don't think it comes from a real place.
Here's another delegate signatory from our statement right here. This is Marisol Rubio, a California delegate, one of the signatories to this statement.
Okay.
I am also a signatory to the statement, by the way.
Yeah, I think Senator Sanders has pretty much been coerced into endorsing her at this juncture. He has not conceded his stance in the race, which is indicative that he's still fighting for our causes and to get him nominated. That's our firm belief. And we're going to fight for that till the end.
And also, there's nothing you could do that Hillary could do to come get your vote.
She could, but at this juncture, considering her choice for VP and some of the committee regulations, resolutions that were not passed, I think she demonstrated a resistance to embrace the policies that are important to us.